Hi, everybody. Quint Lear's newhomesales.com. I'm here with Dennis Oneil with Oneil Interactive. Dennis, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Quint. Thanks for having me.
We're at the 2017 International Builder Show. Dennis, you had a couple of big sessions. You are a pro at what you do. Tell me about the session that you did today.
So the session I did today was called Delivering Your Digital Brand and Marketing Consistently Across All the Digital Channels. Trying to make sure that you're constantly or consistently carrying that same message throughout the entire digital experience, the customer journey.
Explain what you mean by digital brand.
So branding is kind of a concept that's not too foreign for a lot of folks, right? Sometimes we think of a brand as simply just a logo or a name, but it's really evolved into a lot more than that for most builders. And actually, really, it's more important than what brand has evolved into as a consumer. I'd like to try to remind builders that a brand is really better defined by the emotional response that somebody has when they see or interact with your company. And those are the kind of things that we're trying to help builders be more consistent on, both from their first interaction from maybe a display ad or even an AdWords to simply the text in that, all the way through to the point of website experience, to warranty form registrations, to closing documents, to emails, thank you emails after you close. All of that is really a brand message that gets delivered digitally. And that's what we're trying to help builders be consistent on.
That's interesting, and a lot of, I would imagine, builders, they build a very expensive website and then they think, I'm done. And you're saying, no, you're not done. You need to do this and make sure it's all consistent.
Correct. So the consistency is really such the key value, right? We know that, we know that consumers or humans in general always believe the stories that they tell themselves, right? The more we tell ourselves a story, the more we are to believe that. And consumers are telling themselves stories about who a builder is and who they are and why they do what they do and what they stand for at every stage of the process. So when we have these kind of customer experiences where you have these disconnected moments where maybe I first met with a salesperson from ABC Homes and they were fantastic and they took care of me and they were really interested in me and this is what I feel like this builder stands for. And then I get to the closing table or maybe I get to the pre-construction or pre-drywall meeting and I'm dealing with somebody who acts like they don't care about me at all. This is kind of confusing experience really kind of stretches the brand into something undefinable. We know that the more consistent consumer experience creates confidence in the consumer. And taking a lesson from our mutual friend, Tom Richey, we know that the confused mind says no. So the more we create this kind of disconnected experience, the more likely we are to get that no response from the consumer.
And thanks for mentioning Tom Richey. He's been one of my mentors. I know he's meant a lot to you. You work with a lot of builders. What's the biggest mistake right now that you see home builders making on the digital?
And I'm gonna go right back to Tom again. We talked about some of Tom's Top Gun courses, right? So Top Gun marketing course. One of the takeaway that I will never forget from Tom is that you market from the inside out. And so Tom would always talk about saying you wouldn't put an ad in the newspaper or spend money on a billboard until your model was done, until the model looked perfect. Don't put a sign out front. Don't put a directional. Don't spend for bandits. Don't do any of that. You market from the inside out. And I see that same problem digitally speaking. The difference is, of course, the inside from a digital perspective is your website, right? So I see a lot of builders that'll spend money driving traffic to a website that is not designed to convert a lead, right? So if you're spending thousands of dollars a month driving traffic to a website where a consumer can't find your phone number, the forms are frustrating or they don't work or maybe there are no forms at all, then you're just wasting your money. See it all the time.
That's very, very interesting. And, what I thought was awesome, and you've had the privilege of interviewing Mr. Richey at a couple of international builder show maybe 5 or 6 years ago. You were the creator of New Home Know-How. Tell me about that and what your experience was doing what I do, because you've done this.
Yeah, it was, we obviously bonded over that kind of concept of really this desire to have a kind of a multimedia magazine all about the new home industry and about how, the appreciation and the love of the craft of what we do So many years ago, I had interviewed Tom Richey among a few other trainers, and really the goal was to really just to kind of get people interested and make it easy for people to find information about how to be better at what they do. I started in the industry as a new home salesperson in 2000. I was selling new homes for 5 years and sales management for 3.5 years, and love the industry. Have no plans of going anywhere, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of it.
I know I keep hearing that the people that love this industry. Any last words of advice, let's say for home builders, for startups, for salespeople, because you've been on all these different fronts?
Mm-hmm. So taking another kind of cue from the brand session today, start with why. And so why is, I recommended a book today in my session, and it's called Start With Why. It's by Simon Sinek. And it's a fabulous message about helping a company, a brand, or a person, anyone, define why it is they do what they do. What is the intrinsic motivation that drives us to do what we do? And companies have those same kind of whys. Salespeople have those whys. What is it that drives us to do what we do? When we help identify what that is, then it makes it easier to make the decisions around the how and the what. And those just kind of make everything run smoother, makes us more efficient, and make sure that what you're doing is self-fulfilling. From both an individual perspective as well as to make sure that your company is growing in the way that you want it to grow.
I agree 100%. Great TED Talk, Start With Why. Just go to YouTube, put in Start With Why by Simon Sinek. What's your why?
So we believe that great engineering and beautiful design make life better. That's why we do what we do.
Great job. There are builders that are struggling that need an expert like yourself as a consultant. How do they contact you?
Thanks. You can visit my website at oneilinteractive.com. We're a team of 12 really smart digital professionals based in Maryland, but we work with builders all around the country.
Yeah, and you're from my hometown. Yes. Really cool. Marylander. Hey, pleasure to have you. Congratulations. Visit his website. Check it out. You're a man of wisdom and depth, and I appreciate you sharing content with our listeners.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Quinn.